Good morning, girls. In the previous week in physics, we had studied what is momentum, and then I had also discussed with you some applications or real life examples on momentum, right? And I also told you that why are we studying momentum? Because momentum is directly connected or directly related to the second law of motion, right? Now, today I am going to tell you what is the second law of motion. That means what is a statement of the second law of motion, and we derive a formula for force with the help of second law of motion. And in the next video, that is tomorrow, I'm going to discuss with you some applications of the second law. Okay, so I hope you know what is momentum. Momentum is the quantity of motion possessed by an object, right? Or we can say that the product of mass and velocity, uh, the product of mass and velocity of the object is called momentum, right? Now the second law of motion, which was given by Newton, says that the rate of change in momentum is directly proportional to the force applied, and the change in momentum takes place in the same direction in which the force is applied. You have to learn this statement. Okay, I repeat. The rate of change of momentum or the rate of change in momentum is directly proportional to the force applied, and the change in momentum take place in the same direction in which the force is applied. Okay, so we can understand this statement in a very simple example, that if any object is in motion, right, and we apply force on that object, so definitely when we apply the force on that object will change its velocity, right, because the force is applied on it. And when the object will change its velocity, its momentum will also change. Okay, and the momentum will change in the same direction in which the force is being applied on that object. Okay, so this is how we study the statement of the second law. That is, suppose an object is in motion and we apply force on that object. Okay, now because the object is in motion, it will have some momentum. When we apply the force on that object, its velocity will change, right? If its velocity will change, therefore its momentum will change, because we know that momentum is equal to the product of mass and velocity. So if the velocity will change, the momentum will change. Okay, so now we are applying the force on that object. That means if the force is applied on any object and its momentum changes, that change in momentum is directly proportional to the force which is being applied on that object, and the change in momentum will take place in the same direction in which we apply the force on that particular object. Okay, now we will study the real life examples of the second law of motion tomorrow. Today we will study the complete derivation of the second law, and we will derive the formula of force. Okay, now before I begin with the derivation, I will tell you the meaning of directly proportional, right? Now you know that momentum is equal to m into v, right? When I was explaining you momentum, I told you that momentum is equal to mass into velocity. I also told you that momentum depends on two factors, mass and velocity. I can write this relation as P is directly proportional to M. Now I use this symbol of directly proportional, right? And I can also write P is directly proportional to V. V stands for velocity. Directly proportional means if mass changes, momentum will change. Okay? If mass will increase, the momentum will increase. When velocity will increase, momentum will increase. Or we can say when both the quantities increase, or if both the quantities decrease, then there will be change in the momentum. Okay, so what is the meaning of directly proportional? It means any physical quantity which is directly proportional to another quantity. It means that if this quantity changes, if this quantity increases or decreases, then this quantity also decreases or increases, and this also, like over here, momentum is directly proportional to velocity. If velocity will increase, momentum will increase. If velocity will decrease, momentum will decrease. This is the meaning of directly proportional. Okay. Now the second law of statement, I'm going to say once again, statement is the rate of change in momentum is directly proportional to the force applied, and the change in momentum take place in the same direction in which the force is being applied on that object. Okay. Now, using this statement, I will first write the statement in the mathematical form, means in the symbolic form, and then I will show you the derivation. Now, the rate of change in momentum, you know that momentum is given by P, and momentum is given by m into v, right? So the change in momentum will be, suppose the change is shown by pf minus pi. What is pf minus pi? Pf is a final momentum minus the initial momentum, and this is directly proportional to the forces which is being applied on that object. Okay, so we are going to study the whole derivation, and we are going to derive the formula for force, and that will be equal to mass into acceleration. Okay, so let's study the derivation. Okay, so I will write here derivation and listen to the explanation carefully. Okay, now we consider a body which is moving with the initial velocity u. Okay, we consider a body which is moving with the initial velocity u, and on that object we apply force, and that force is given by capital F, right? When the force is applied on this object which is moving with velocity u, it changes its velocity to v. Okay, and when there is a change in velocity of the object, that object acquires acceleration, and which is given by small a. Now we have already studied these terms: initial velocity, final velocity, acceleration, and force, right? So again, we begin the derivation with the introduction, saying that consider a body which is moving with velocity u, right? We apply a force on it, and when the force is applied on the object, what happens? The object changes its velocity, which is shown by v, right? And when there is a change in velocity, the object acquires acceleration, which is shown by a. Okay, and we will also take, let the mass of that object be m. Okay, so these are assumptions before starting the derivation. Okay, so you will write all these statements in your notebook. I will write it down, the whole derivation, and give it to you in the WhatsApp group, right? So we have taken an object whose mass is m, moving with the velocity what? U. Then when the force is applied on the object for time t, when the force is applied for the object on the object for time t, then there's a change in velocity which is shown by v, right? And because there's a change in velocity of the object acquires acceleration. So we write now, let the initial momentum, right? Let the initial momentum, now momentum is shown by p and I will write I. So let the initial momentum be mu. Okay, mass of the object is m and u is initial velocity, right? Then let the final momentum, I will now write pf, and let the pf be mv. Okay, now for how long the force is being applied? For time t, and the force is shown by capital F, right? And as I told you that there's a change in velocity, the object acquires acceleration. Okay, so let the initial momentum and the final momentum is shown by mu and mv respectively. Now according to the second law, we have just now studied the statement of the second law, which is saying that force is directly proportional to the rate of change in momentum. Okay, now what is the meaning of rate of change in momentum? I can write it in the form of pf minus pi upon t. Okay, now why pf minus pi? Because it's a change in momentum and per unit time. Either I say here rate of change in momentum, or I can say that change in momentum per unit time, okay, and therefore force is directly proportional to Pf minus Pi upon T. Now what we'll do, F is directly proportional to, I showed you the symbol of directly proportional. For Pf I'm going to write Mv, for Pi I'm going to write Mu upon T, right? Now I will take out M common, V minus U upon T. Now, as you know that in the previous chapter motion, we know that V minus U upon T is equal to what? A. So, I can write F is directly proportional to M into A. Now, this is F is directly proportional to M into A. Now, to remove the proportionality sign, we have to put an equal sign, and when I put an equal sign, I have to put a constant which is shown by k here. So there's a rule in physics that when you will derive any equation or when you derive any formula, when you have to change the proportionality sign to an equal sign or equality sign, you have to replace this symbol by equal sign with only when you supply a constant over here. Okay, so here I take the constant k and we will write the value of k is equal to 1. Now the numeric value of k has taken to be 1. So therefore, finally the formula reduces to m into a, or we write f is equal to m into a, as what is the value of k taken as? K is taken as 1. It is numerically proved, so we don't have to worry about k here. Where has k disappeared? K is equal to 1, so I just now write f is equal to m into a. So now I get the formula for force is equal to mass into acceleration. We can also define force now, the product of mass and acceleration, right? In the beginning of the chapter, we had studied what is force. Force is defined as any push or pull on the object. But now we can define force by this formula, and we can say that force is equal to the product of mass of the object and its acceleration. Okay, now to find the unit of force, we will write the unit of mass multiplied by the unit of acceleration. Okay, now what is the unit of mass? Unit of mass is kg. Unit of acceleration is meter per second square, and therefore the unit of force is kg meter per second square, which I can also write it as Newton, and Newton is written as capital N. Okay, so therefore the unit of force is Newton, written as capital N, and we can write 1 Newton is equal to 1 kg meter per second square. Okay, now what is the force? Force is what type of quantity? Scalar or vector? How will you decide whether it is a scalar quantity? Now force has a magnitude. Now force can also have a direction. We can apply force in different directions. So force can have magnitude and force can also have a direction. So therefore, because force has both magnitude and direction, so force is which type of quantity? It is a vector quantity. Okay, and what is the unit of force? It is capital N. Okay, so today what you will do is you will study this derivation. I will write this derivation on a big page, and I am going to post it in the group. You will study that, you will practice that derivation, and you will also listen to my explanation. Okay, so again I revise with you what is the second law. The second law of motion says that the rate in change in momentum is directly proportional to the force applied, right? And the change in momentum takes place in the same direction in which the force is applied. Okay, and we can write the formula for force now as F is equal to mass into acceleration. The unit of force is Newton, which is equal to 1 kg meter per second square. And force, because it has both magnitude and direction, we will say that vector force is a vector quantity. Okay, so today you will study all this, and Tomorrow I will tell you some applications of the second law and how this second law we use it in the real life situations. Okay, so study this and also revise your previous topics like first law of motion, what is inertia, what is momentum. Revise all those and then come to the second law. Okay, if you have any doubt, you can ask me and you can send me your messages. Okay, so have a nice day. Thank you.